Hi, folks, it's Mark Merrill with Firm. Well, the agencies and media continue to be axed. That's right, I said the media. So, on and on it goes with President Trump and Doge. On and on it goes. We're going to be reviewing Mr. Trump's recent orders to dismantle 8 federal agencies. It's not going to be fun. The people who work there or used to are going to get a pink slip. And we're going to review and look at an article from Voice of America. Maybe some of you people who've been around long enough know that the Voice of America has been around for 70 or 80 years, I would say, covering world wars, even the Vietnam War and beyond that. But looks like it's going to be facing the old pink slip and job cut Doge treatment after all. More details in a second. But first, here's our audio segment portion of this program, folks, about agencies and media being axed. From the Epoch Times back on March 16th, where President Trump has signed a recent order to dismantle 8, that's right, 8, count them 8, federal agencies, including the Voice of America parent entity. Here's just a portion of that report from Epoch Times.
President Donald Trump signed an executive order late Friday that seeks to dismantle 8 federal agencies, with the latest action building on his prior directive to eliminate elements of the federal bureaucracy deemed unnecessary. The president's March 14th order directs the agencies to shut down all non-legally required functions, cut staff, and reduce statutory roles to the bare minimum required by law. He has given agency heads 7 days to report compliance to the Office of Management and Budget, or justify the continued existence of whichever functions still remain. A White House fact sheet notes that the cuts are to enhance accountability, reduce waste, and promote innovation. It further notes that cutting the 8 agencies will streamline government priorities, save taxpayer dollars, and drain the swamp. Trump's order names 7 agencies that are slated for elimination: the Federal Mediation and Conciliation Service, United States Agency for Global Media, Woodrow Wilson International Center for Scholars, Institute of Museum and Library Services, United States Interagency Council on Homelessness, Community Development Financial Institutions Fund, and the Minority Business Development Agency. The White House fact sheet identifies an 8th entity to be wound down: the Arctic Research Commission. The Epoch Times has reached out to the White House with a request for confirmation that the Arctic Research Commission is encompassed by Trump's latest directive. The United States Agency for Global Media, which runs Voice of America and Radio Free Asia, has been in Trump's crosshairs since his first term. With an annual budget of around $900 million that operates networks broadcasting in more than 60 languages and around 100 countries, USAM has been a target of criticism from Trump's allies, who argue it operates with a liberal bias. The president has nominated Brent Bozell, a conservative media watchdog, to lead the USAM, though his Senate confirmation is pending.
Well, there's the latest, folks. It comes with Donald Trump's ongoing cuts with Doge through Elon Musk and all the things that are happening and getting left by the wayside, or maybe thrown down in the trash heap or the dumpster or whatever you want to call it, and pink slips to go with it. Got to do it, folks. Biden and Harris left us almost on the edge of the abyss, as we keep calling it. We're all ready to fall into the fire. Guarantee you, folks, there's no United States, there's no world. But you see, always, you have to remember where we come from, folks, and why we're established here under the Constitution, which the Founding Fathers also found out there was a lot of hard work, but at the same time, it was worth it, getting away from the crown of Great Britain at the time. God's still in charge, no matter which way the left wants to look at it, because they keep thinking they're demigods anyway. So other than that, folks, as for the Voice of America, you may recall, but we will certainly let you know right off the bat here that it was at one time, and still is, I believe, World Radio Network, and former Arizona Senate candidate Kari Lake, who I'm sure everybody is familiar with. She was named director of Voice of America, and she was vetted through the Senate. And she has ended contracts or deals with major newswire services that she estimates could save American taxpayers, all of us, $53 million. Wouldn't that be nice to have that split up and go to the neediest of us in this country? Have our own money coming back to us as stipends. Well, there's a thought. So, after that announcement about the $53 million, Voice of America is having their contracts terminated with these three are really big ones, folks. The Associated Press, Reuters news service, which used to be quite respectable, and an overseas pain in the neck, apparently, Agence France Presse. The press of the country of France. Gee, I wonder if President Macron is heartbroken about that. But Ms. Lake, of course, a Republican politician, former news anchor herself, announced the decision on social media, calling the contracts expensive and unnecessary. Lake is the Trump administrator's senior advisor for the U.S. Agency for Global Media, which oversees Voice of America, USAGM. Ms. Lake estimates the move will save about the $53 million, as she posted earlier, and said that VOA should produce its own news coverage rather than relying on external news providers. Now, there's a thought. How about that? We should not be paying outside news organizations to tell us what the news is, said Lake. With a nearly $1 billion budget, we should be producing news ourselves, and if that's not possible, the American taxpayer should demand to know why. We should have known why all along, folks. Typically, news outlets use wire services to supplement coverage. I know, we used to use it all the time in radio, folks, over my 27, 28 years of broadcast experience, especially in areas without their own reporters. It's nice to have the wire service, but you see, they've gone woke, folks. They've been bought off by the almighty dollar, or should I say by the almighty millions or billions of dollars. And to those ends, folks, one quick side note. As far as the state of Maine is concerned, the state capital of Augusta, where all the state house is, the governor's office, as well as where the legislators meet for sessions and news briefings, and also the laws that may or may not be passed in both the House and Senate. You know what happens there sometimes? They relied on the Associated Press to just run down there in between breaks from their sessions, see what was going on, to keep up with the daily news. Well, guess what? Associated Press has fallen on such hard times. This is long before Donald Trump took office, folks. It was probably taking place during his first term. Augusta has not had an Associated Press office in years, but the Augusta media offices in the State House. Says a lot. In an additional post online, Lake said that she's currently examining agency spending closely, stating she's discovered a lot of nonsense the American taxpayer shouldn't be paying for. The move marks one of her first major actions since her appointment to USAGM, which also supervises other broadcasters such as Radio Free Europe. You probably heard in that announcement there. Her appointment signals a shift in how VOA operates, emphasizing internal content production and cost-cutting measures. Ms. Lake's selection by Trump has drawn attention due to her outspoken criticism of legacy media. But you know what? Too friggin' bad. Now, while this is all going on, folks, ladies and gentlemen and all of the free speech, freedom of expression, and freedom of enterprise business operations in this country, Currently, with the re-election of Donald Trump and new cabinet members and restoring constitutional laws and policies that seem to be reinstated in days and weeks instead of months and months, we folks as a sovereign nation are finally past the coup d'etat overthrow of the United States of America. Yeah, you know, coup d'etat. What is it? Well, basically, folks, the definition is a sudden, decisive exercise of force in politics, especially the violent overthrow or alteration of an existing government by a small group. I'd like to call that, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't mind, a small-minded group. All the minority groups, you know, the LGBTQ, you know, and the other ones there, all about this transgender stuff that's poked into our society and our culture and say we want to change and we want this to go away. We're tired of the Constitution. It's old. It's outdated. And I'm thinking to myself, are you kidding me? Are you really kidding me? Here's the real culprits, folks, right here. The removal and ends of the nasty mainstream media. Ding dong. That's what they are. Could call them a lot worse, folks. You know me. And despite the new head of the Open Society Foundation of George Soros by his coerced and corrupted son, Alex Soros. Remember this? I don't know if you remember the article or not, folks, but we're certainly going to bring it to your attention because, you know what, it is kind of important because even though George Soros might not be with us much longer on planet Earth, doesn't mean that his society is going to go away because it's in the hands now of his evil son. It's almost like a cartoon, isn't it, folks? It's like an evil cartoon coming at us, and it's something that we need to really, really pay attention to because it could affect our lives as far as communications with Father Soros trying to buy 200 radio stations that host a lot of conservative newscasters like Glenn Beck, Daily Wire, Sean Hannity. Yeah. This is why it has to stop, folks. The angry Jew has nothing better to do. Now we're going to call his son the little angry Jew. Oh, he thinks he can take over the world and dominate and control us, including the United States of America and China. Oh, really? Boy, oh boy. As my father used to say, and I'm going to use it, and I don't think it's anything that's going to get me in trouble with the FCC. A lot of piss-pot airs there, if you ask me, young man. You invoke the wrath of God, good luck to you. You're going to need it. Finally, folks, all those as you see, all the things that we've promoted here on FIRM, Fairness in Reporting Media, our episode entitled Agencies and Media's Being Axed. Here's one other thing that needs to be watched, ladies and gentlemen. As we put this all together today. I don't know if you've ever seen this one, folks, but you probably heard all about the wolf in sheep's clothing. You know, in this case, the bad Samaritans. Well, they're there. They're not very nice, folks. But you see, despite all this dastardliness, as we may use that term or word, the Soros prosecutors trying to destroy our criminal justice system, among other things, coerce judges, pay them off, so that all they do is they let the bad guys go. But despite all that, with the wolves in sheep's clothing, maybe America, just maybe, will take back our republic for the sake of honor and some other things that are quite important to us, folks. What would those be? We'll take back not just honor, but civility, dignity, trust in our fellow man and woman. Biological kind, of course. For lifetimes and centuries, folks, up ahead. And our final point, to really celebrate our 250th anniversary with pride in July of 2026. That's what we have for you today, folks, on Firm, Fairness in Reporting Media. Mark Merrill here. Anytime that you want to get in touch with us and take a look at some of our programs, please feel free to do so at Firm, Fairness in Reporting Media. And we are at your disposal 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And here we are. Get that to you right off the bat here. Moving things around just a little. There we are. Fairness in Reporting Media at gmail.com for the emails. Right there. Emails at fairnessinreportingmedia at gmail.com. Let's see if we can move that a little bit better for you. There we are. And we welcome your input for any topics we haven't thought of as well. And also our podcasts at rumble.com/fairnessmedia1. Rumble.com at fairnessmedia1. Stay in touch with us, folks. Be aware of what's going on in our world. Everybody, pray a lot. Stay safe. Peace to everyone.